Hello everybody and welcome back to Fable 2. I'm going to be doing the Archeologist side quest today. This has been in our quest log for the longest time, but if I go ahead and I set it to my primary objective, just to give you a refresher, we're going to go around and dig things up for this Archeologist. We're looking for ancient artifacts, and I've saved this until the end of the game, mostly just because it's not necessary. You don't get anything that's really too spectacular for doing this quest, and it's a bit of a pain because it is like doing a fetch quest. But I chose to keep my dog after end game, so he's going to be here to help me, and he's also a 5-star treasure hunter, which basically means that he's going to be able to find any treasure that's buried in and around Albion. So that's really great. We should be able to finish this up no problem. All we need to do is to speak to the Archeologist, and she's going to ask you to collect a bunch of these. So I'm just going to skip her dialogue. I'm sure it's not all that important. This is a pretty straightforward thing. And she will give you a little bit of a clue as to where you need to go. So if you read the back of it, all the ancient texts point to an artifact hidden near the ruins of an old kingdom structure. One of them mentions a dark cathedral overlooking the ocean. At least, I believe that is the correct translation. So right away you know Dark Cathedral means the Temple of Shadows. So, it's going to tell you to study her notes, and it'll be on the bottom button for you if you need to look at it. And you're basically going to travel to wherever it is that you need to go in Albion. If you have this set and you try to press A to warp to a location, it actually won't let you. So the game's not going to be that easy on you because it's not actually going to tell you, you can warp to such and such place and it's going to take such and such amount of time. You're going to have to kind of piece the pieces together yourself. So we need to go to Rook Ridge, and I'm going to warp right to the Temple of Shadows. Okay, so once you've come to the right location, it'll actually pop right up on the screen just to say to follow your dog. So when this prompt comes up, you know that you've gone to the right place. And this is going to be your dog's primary objective, so just follow him. He's not going to lead you off the wrong path or anything like that. And if his treasure hunting is high enough, then this prompt will always come up. I'm not sure if a lot of these dig spots have a required treasure hunting level. I haven't actually looked in a while. All I know is I got mine to 5, so I'm not overly worried about it. Of course, if you run into any enemies along the way, you have to defeat them, or else your dog's not going to concentrate. He's going to try and help you fight. And if your dog is hurt, you will need to heal him so he can actually run. Because if your dog gets hurt and bad, he'll run around whimpering and crying and limping, and it's quite sad. So your dog has to be in tip-top shape for this. And he's such a good dog. Looks like he kind of got a little lost there, though. That was kind of glitchy because he spun around and then he started walking really quickly. But a lot of these dig spots are in very remote locations. Like, this is something up here that I would never think of even visiting, and it's really out of the way, so these are really hard to find without a dog, of course, unless you look them up or something like that. But yeah, these artifacts are really out of the way. So what's buried in the ground is going to be this ancient scroll, and it contains 3 single words written in some undecipherable language. So you get a bunch of these scrolls, and each time you get one, you have to go and return it to Belle. It's kind of like the Lady Grey side quest in a way. It's like you gotta go fetch an item, and then bring it back, and then you gotta go and you gotta fetch another item and bring it back, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and let's bring this to the Archeologist. Belle is going to be here day and night because she is so dedicated to her job. So don't worry about time passing or anything like that. She'll always be here. So all you need to do is return the scroll to her, and you will get a bit of renown for it. So this quest is a lot of renown. There's going to be a really, really big prize at the end that you can sell for a lot of gold, but if you want to keep doing these, it's basically just a lot of renown. So there are 13 dig spots and also 13 different artifacts that we need to collect. I'm obviously not going to be able to show off all 13 in this video just because that would take way too long. But I'm definitely going to be doing them all to show everybody what the last prize is. So my latest research led me to some of the darkest, most chilling books I have at my disposal. The next artifact lies where the dead dwell, according to them. So, where the dead lie is going to be in Bowerstone Cemetery. So that's very, very close by. It'll be really, really easy to fast travel there. So we need to go to Bowerstone Cemetery, and hopefully we can dig up something there. Alright, and now that we are here, I've warped right to the graveyard. It's going to put me in the middle, and I'm going to follow my dog through all of these trees and gravestones. He could have just taken me up the path, but I guess he thought it was better to make me follow him through a bunch of rugged terrain. So once again, we're just going to follow him until he finds our dig spot. Like I said, he's getting a little lost, but I think he'll find his way. Just gotta give him a minute or two to find out where he's going. So these are really, really self-explanatory. There's a couple of hints later on as you find more and more artifacts, and it might seem a little cryptic, but for the most part they're pretty easy to figure out, especially if you have this quest set but you're not really doing a whole lot of anything else. Then you might go through and you might be going through a bunch of different locations, and then you just happen to accidentally stumble upon it while it's set, and then you get it without realizing it. That's something that could definitely happen. But here it is. It's just behind the big pile of junk beside Shelley Crypt. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna dig this one up. I apparently dug in the wrong spot, which is really weird. I find that when you dig, it usually just kind of is really generous. Like, it just kind of, okay, well, you dug in this spot, which is approximately where the dig spot is, so I'm going to give it to you anyways, but this time I guess it didn't. So anyways, that's that. That was a pretty easy one to grab. We're going to go and return this one to Belle, and we are going to get our next clue. And for getting her third artifact, or her third artifact scroll, we get 125 renown, and we are free to go from here. So you guys get the general idea. There's a part of the quest at the end after getting all of the artifacts. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get all of Belle's artifacts, all the rest of them, and when I grab the last one, I will show you guys the last little part of this quest. Okay, so I've come back after getting all of the artifacts, which was painful and time-consuming, I will add. I'm now ready to return my final artifact to Belle. You'll notice that she's also moved. When I come to bring her the 13th one, she's down here. This is the area that she's been digging and digging and digging, and you'll see there's actually an entrance to a little tomb-type area. So we're going to give her the final artifact. And you get 700 renown for that, which is a lot, considering you're just digging stuff up. And if you return all of the artifacts to Belle, she's going to have one last quest for you at the very, very end. She needed all of the scrolls to open up this door. I guess each of them had a couple of letters on them, and when she puts the letters together, it's going to allow this door to open. And this is the big geological study that she has been working on for God knows how long. So it's kind of nice that we've helped her with her dream.
I'm sure it would represent little challenge for someone like you.
But who knows what's actually in that little tombstone area. So she's going to send us to go and make sure that this place is safe. So let's go. So we need to go on through here. And I jumped down really, really prematurely, but that's okay. It saves me a bunch of walking. And if you come through here, you're going to have to defeat a couple of these little shards, I guess. Little shards of the spire. So these are really not that tough to take out. Really, really easy, actually. Especially if you leave it for later on in the game, like I have. And then once they're very, very easily defeated, you will be able to come up and grab the finding that's in the chest, which is called the Archon's Dream. So this is the third of the Divinity Gems. We have the other two. One of them was in Shelley Crypt. That was the gem that we had gotten from that quest. And then the other one is the Diamond of Sorrow that you get from Chesty. So this is the third one. They are of the most precious jewels in the Old Kingdom. It is said that this one was presented to the Archon in a dream as a gift from the gods. After the destruction of the kingdom, the gems were scattered throughout the world, and though they have often been dismissed as nothing more than legends, thousands have devoted their lives to finding them. And we are just one of those thousands, I guess, even though we weren't, directly looking at it or looking for it. So now we actually have that in our inventory. If we go to the gift section, we'll be able to look at all three of our Divinity Gems, which will appear on the bottom. So this one, just like the other ones, is worth quite a bit of money. It's also worth 100,000, just like the Diamond of Sorrow is. So that is basically, again, one of those items that you would just sell.
You have it.
So she's come up to meet us here, now that the way is clear.
I have dedicated my whole life.
And she's going to ask you to hand the gem over. Now, of course, this has a moral aspect to it. If you want to keep the gem for yourself, you can kill her and take it, or you can give it to her. Now, seeing as how I helped her this whole time, and I have absolutely no use for this gem, I'm going to make this woman very happy and give her the gem. Because, spending your life on work is something that I can't even imagine. Especially, if you got the results, I think that would just be so great. So
I'm so overwhelmed.
now she's off to do more study type stuff. She's going to write a huge paper, and she's going to go off and live happily ever after. We get 1,000 renown points for that, for finishing the entire quest line, on top of all the renown you already get for returning all of the artifacts. And she's going to give you 50,000 gold. Now, considering that the gem was worth 100,000, it's really not a bad trade-off. If you don't want to do the evil part of the quest and kill her, then you still get half of what the gem is worth. And if you are evil, don't care, then you can make a bit of a profit. But I really had no use for it, and I really just think that's a really nice way to finish up this quest. So that is going to be it for this video. I'm going to also leave the locations and the renown points for each of the individual artifacts in the description if anybody needs to see that or to review it, or if they need help with this quest, since I cut out a lot of it. Thanks everybody so much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.